Earth is a shadow. Your physical life or your earthly life is just a shadow. Let me explain. Most of us know that we are not these physical bodies, and in our true essence, we are spirit. We also know this because if you go to a cemetery, you'll see people's body, they're decaying. It's just decaying and going back to dust. But after that physical body dies, we live on in spirit. Spirit is our true eternal state. With that being said, it is the spirit that is real. We have it backwards. It is the spirit that is real. And the body that decays is, in a sense, a ghost. So it is the spirit that is real. That's our real eternal state. And the body, or this realm, is just a ghost. It is the body that is a stage, and the spirit is just the host. Now, when you look at a shadow, you see an object, and when the light hits the object casts a shadow. So the shadow is not the real. The shadow is something cast from the object when the light hits it. So with that being said, if what not is real, if the thing that isn't real is the shadow, you have to understand that since the physical body isn't real, it's the shadow. It is the shadow. So what is the purpose of this shadow? So the purpose of the physical shadow is to do shadow work to help your spirit, which is your true essence. And so you manifested a physical simulation that will put you in physical experiences to give you real situations and real experiences in order to calibrate. I made a whole different word, in order break, but in order to calibrate your spirit back to the equilibrium of source. And so in this physical situation, you are presented with situations and conditions, and the goal is to become unconditional. So I want to talk about the term shadow work. Shadow work will not be needed in the way that everybody is saying it will be needed. And this is what I mean. Everything that's going on in the reciprocation of earth represents an identity that you are not. You are not a physical being. You're not lawyers. You're not police officers. Those are just costumes that you put on to identify in this physical body. But like I said before, you're not a physical body. You're not even a child. You're not even an adult in the way that this physical realm tells you. Let me explain that for people that may not know. You're just consciousness. In the ethereal realm, you're just an eternal state of spirit. You don't grow. You don't start as a fetus and grow into a child and then an adult and then an elderly person. You're just in your eternal state. That happens in this realm. And so as I was saying, you're not, the identity that you assumed in this realm is not who you are in essence. So all of the situations, they took the house, they took the car from me, this person took this from me. They are not situations that you truly have to do work on. Those are situations that you have to transcend. Let me explain that a bit more. Like, for example, in essence, we are love. We are already connected. We are already one in love. So when we descended into these physical bodies, our brains took on the reciprocation of this earthly consciousness, which is a representation of who we are not. This is the shadow. And so even though we are already love in essence, we have forgotten this. And the forgetfulness of this is the human consciousness. The human state of being that we took on is the forgetfulness of being a divine being. And so in this human state of consciousness, in this state of sleep, we say things like, I'm going to make a friend. I'm going to go out and fall in love. How can you go out and find love if you are already love in essence? So like I said, everything that's going on here is the forgetfulness of of your state of divinity. Hope that makes sense to you. And so instead of saying this friend betrayed me, I didn't find love, the goal wouldn't be to work on those things and say, okay, I got to treat my friend better. The goal is to understand that the term friend is a low vibrational term. Because when you are in love, you are connected to all. You don't have to make a friend. You don't have to fall in love. So all of these terms that we're using are low vibrational terms. The fact that when I had my experience, the one that died is not the one that returned. I am a being from the other side. And that doesn't just necessarily mean just because you see my physical being, I look just like everyone else. Being is not necessarily a physical word. Your state of being is the intangible state, the unseen state. And so human being is the state of being that's in reciprocation with earth. I'm from the other side. And so an example of how I think, since I'm from the other side, most people think traumas are something that happen within this shadow or the earth mindset. They'll say, when I was a child, I had a trauma. And but for me, since I'm from the other side, I wouldn't say I was a child and this experience happened to me and it put me or gave me a trauma. To me, I have a more expanded viewpoint from the other side of that word because my being is from the other side. So I would say something as a trauma. When you look at the word trauma, it is the root word for traumatic. So it's not a matter of fixing a trauma. It is a matter of dissolving the mindset that deemed the event as traumatic. Once you alchemize the mindset that deemed the event as traumatic, the trauma dissolves. In essence, as I said, when I said you don't grow up in the ethereal realm, you're not a kid. You are an eternal being. So I come from that side to where even though people are doing what they call shadow work, I come from a light so bright that it overshadows the physical object and it brings light to the shadow itself to even blot that out. It's just pure light. And so when you understand this, you begin to undress the earthly consciousness, and all that is left is the divine consciousness that you already are in essence. So it is the physical that is the shadow. When you dissolve the consciousness of the physicality, because that is who you are not, there is no shadow work. Think about it. Even as what you call an adult, you were once a child. If you were once a child and now you are a physical adult, then did the child not exist? It's all just happening in a lower form in this physicality. So as I was saying, you're really spiritual beings. And the fact that this physical world is temporary, you're just manifesting in physicality to show your conditions, because everything on earth is conditions. Even when you get married, to fall in love, till death do us part, a bunch of conditions are read out. It's not true. Everything in this world is a mimicry of something real. And so you manifest it in this physical form just to do, as a shadow, just to transcend everything that you are not, so that you can rise into who I am. I amness is the highest state.